The galaxy once looked at Earth with wonder. It was the small blue world that gave birth to humans, dreamers, explorers, fighters. But everything changed when humans lost the war. It was not one enemy that defeated them. It was all of them. Every alien species that called themselves civilized. They said humans were dangerous, too emotional, too unpredictable. So they united, invaded, and broke Earth in chains. Now, centuries later, Earth was no longer free. Alien ships floated above the planet like dark clouds. Factories covered the oceans. Human cities were turned into mining zones. Every human was owned by someone. They were called assets, not people. Children were born in camps. Old ones were sent to work until they died. No one was allowed to speak about the time before the war, the time when Earth was alive, when skies were blue and free. To the aliens, Earth was just a useful planet. To humans, it was a prison. But to something deep beneath the ground, Earth was still home, and home never forgets. In the dark tunnels of an old city, a man named Rian carried a rusted metal crate on his shoulders. His body was thin, his hands full of scars. Around him, thousands of humans worked under the eyes of alien guards, tall, gray-skinned creatures with glowing eyes and metal staffs. Ryan looked up at the red sky. Lightning flashed far away, but no thunder followed. It was strange. He whispered, "It's too quiet today." His friend Lena, a young woman working beside him, replied softly, "The air feels heavy, like the world is holding its breath." They didn't know how right she was. That night, Ryan returned to his camp. The humans lived inside metal cages surrounded by force fields. Rain began to fall, thick black rain that smelled like smoke and oil. The guards didn't care. They laughed, watching humans shiver under the storm, but Ryan stayed awake, staring at the sky. A small light flickered far above the clouds. For a moment, he thought it was a shooting star. But then it stopped, hung still, and vanished. He whispered, "Maybe Earth is crying." Lena turned toward him. "Don't say things like that. If they hear you—" "I don't care anymore," Rian said, his eyes burning with quiet anger. "They took everything, even our sky." Far below their camp, under miles of rock and dirt, something ancient stirred. For thousands of years it had slept, feeling every wound, every explosion, every drop of blood spilled on its surface. It was not a mind like a human's, but it remembered. It remembered the laughter of children, the rhythm of rain, the warmth of sunlight. And it remembered the screams when the invaders came. Now it was time to wake. Above the ground, lightning began to strike. Once, twice, and then a third time in the same exact place. The alien guards looked up, confused. Machines around them started to flicker. Lights turned red. Ground sensors screamed false readings. Then something whispered through every radio, every monitor, every comm device. One soft word, repeated again and again. "Remember." The aliens panicked. They thought it was a virus, a signal, a human trick. But humans didn't have the power for this. In every camp, in every ship, across the whole planet, the same word echoed, "Remember." Ryan felt the ground move under his feet. He dropped his crate and looked around. The walls were shaking. The rain outside turned bright blue, glowing like fire. People screamed. Alarms blared. "What's happening?" Lena shouted. Rian didn't answer. He could feel something, not in the air, but inside his bones. Like the planet itself was breathing. He touched the wet soil near his cage. It was warm. For a second, he felt something touch his mind, a soft voice, deep and powerful. It said, "My children suffer." "My heart burns," Ryan gasped and fell back. The voice was gone, but its weight stayed inside him. He looked at Lena. "The Earth is speaking." Lena's eyes widened. "That's impossible." But before she could say more, a bright flash tore through the sky. An alien factory in the distance exploded like a sun. Shockwaves raced across the land. Energy surged from the ground, knocking ships from the air. The guards screamed, trying to control the humans, but their weapons stopped working. The force fields fell. For the first time in hundreds of years, humans could breathe free air. Rian stood up, staring at the glowing horizon. "It's starting," he said quietly. "What is?" Lena asked. He turned toward the burning sky. "The planet remembers." The storm spread across continents, swallowing cities. Machines died, ships fell, and oceans began to boil. Earth was no longer quiet. After centuries of silence, her fury had awakened, and this was only the beginning. Days passed after the storm that destroyed the alien factory. The skies were strange now. Red in the morning, blue at night, glowing with unknown lights. The aliens called it a global energy disorder. But humans whispered a different name. They called it Earth's awakening. In the ruins of the work camps, Ryan and Lena hid with a small group of survivors. Alien machines no longer worked, and the guards had either fled or died in the storm. The world felt quiet again, but it wasn't peace. It was the silence before something greater. Ryan looked up at the sky and whispered, "She's not done yet." Lena frowned. "You mean the planet?" He nodded. "It's like she's thinking." Far away, deep in the alien capital orbiting Earth, the Council of Species met in fear. 12 races, each older and stronger than humanity, filled the great chamber. Their holograms floated above the floor, proud, colorful, and now trembling. "This cannot be natural," said the Archon commander, his voice sharp. "Planets do not rise against their masters." A scientist from the Kalari race spoke next. "We measured massive energy from Earth's core. It's increasing every hour. The planet's magnetic field is expanding, almost as if it's alive." "Alive?" Another alien laughed nervously. "Don't be foolish." But then a report appeared on the screen. Satellite images showing forests spreading over deserts, rivers forming overnight, and lightning storms targeting alien facilities with precision. The council fell silent. Finally, the Kalari scientist whispered, "If this continues, the planet will destroy everything we built there." Back on Earth, Ryan's group walked through the wastelands. Old cities were nothing but skeletons of metal. Strange lights pulsed from the ground, green veins glowing under the soil. They found a cave to rest in. Inside, Ryan saw something unbelievable. A small tree growing in the dark, roots deep in the stone, glowing with soft blue light. Lena touched one of its leaves. "It's warm." Ryan nodded. "She's healing herself." Then he heard it again, that voice deep and echoing in his head. "My blood burns with your pain, my heart knows your chains." The stars turned their faces away, but I will not. He fell to his knees. Lena grabbed his shoulder. "Ryan, what is it?" He looked at her, eyes wide with awe. "She's speaking to me." "Who?" "Earth." That same night, strange events spread across the planet. In oceans, waves began to move against the wind. In deserts, sand shaped itself into giant human faces. In the sky, lightning formed. Symbols no alien could understand, but every human felt something inside: courage, warmth, and anger. The planet was calling to her children. In orbit, the Alien Council decided to act. "We cannot allow this infection to spread," said the Archon commander. "Burn it. Burn the planet before it burns us." Thousands of ships began charging their weapons. The plan was simple: end Earth once and for all. But when the first laser beam fired, something impossible happened. The beam never reached the surface. It bent, curved, and hit the firing ship itself, destroying it instantly. More ships tried. The same result. It was as if the air itself refused to let harm touch the ground. Then all across the fleet, one word appeared on every screen, the same word as before: "Remember." The commanders panicked. "What does it mean?" they shouted. But none of them understood, until it was too late. Down below, Ryan looked at the horizon. The air shimmered with golden light. He turned to his people. "She's waking up." And far beneath their feet, the planet whispered back, "I will protect my children." The next morning, the world smelled of smoke and iron. A red mist covered the sky. The alien fleets were gone, vanished, but no one knew how. Ryan and his group climbed a ruined tower to see what remained. What they saw made their hearts freeze. An entire alien city, once shining silver and gold, was gone. Nothing was left but glass and ash. Rivers ran red through the ruins. The sky above twisted with clouds that looked like faces, human faces, full of fury. Lena whispered, What did she do?" Ryan said nothing. He simply watched, eyes full of fear and wonder. She remembered. In the following days, chaos spread through the galaxy. Transmission logs from the destroyed city reached the Alien Council. The final message was short, broken, and terrifying. The planet is alive. No one believed it at first, until other colonies began to fall. Ships flying near Earth were pulled down by invisible hands. Entire fleets vanished into storms that appeared out of nowhere. Even the most powerful alien technology couldn't resist. The galaxy started whispering a new word: vengeance. Meanwhile, on Earth, strange changes were happening to humans. Ryan noticed it first when Lena lifted a metal beam with her bare hands to save a child trapped under debris. She stared at her palms. How did I do that? Ryan's eyes widened. She's giving us her strength. More humans began to feel it. Strength, speed, a strange energy in their veins. It was as if the planet was feeding them power. The power to fight back. In orbit, the Alien Council was breaking apart. Each race blamed the others. Some wanted to flee. Others wanted to launch another attack. One general shouted, "You cannot fight a planet. It is not a target, it is a being." Another voice answered coldly, "Then we burn the entire solar system." But before their ships could move, their engines failed. Every system went dark. The stars outside the windows twisted into red spirals. And through the static of their radios came a sound none would ever forget. The sound of a heartbeat, deep and slow. Thump, thump. The same signal repeated on every frequency. Thump, thump. Then came the whisper. "You chained my children. You bled my oceans. Now I remember your names." The alien fleets turned their weapons on each other in madness, trying to escape a sky that seemed alive. Back on the surface, Ryan's people stood among burning clouds. The ground trembled, mountains rising where cities once stood. Lena looked at him. "She's destroying everything." Ryan shook his head. "No, she's cleansing it." Lightning struck again and again. Each bolt formed into shapes, wings, hands, eyes watching from the storm. The air smelled of blood and rain. Human survivors gathered, holding hands as they watched the heavens burn. For the first time in history, no one felt small before the stars. Because the stars were afraid of them. As the night fell, a quiet moment came. The wind stopped. The fires died. And from the silence, a soft voice reached every heart, human and alien alike. "I am Earth. I am alive. And I do not forgive." The galaxy had gone silent. After the storms, after the red skies, nothing felt normal anymore. The aliens' great fleets had vanished. Communications failed. Trade routes were empty. It was as if the universe itself held its breath. But far from Earth, in deep space colonies, the humans who had been taken as slaves began to change. On a mining moon owned by the Truckari Empire, a worker named Mara woke up to find her chains broken, not by tools but by her own touch. The metal had melted like wax when she grabbed it. Her hands glowed faint blue for a second, and then the light faded. The guards rushed toward her, shouting, "Stay down, human!" But when they raised their electric whips, lightning leapt from her eyes and struck them down. Mara stood still, shaking, terrified of herself. But deep inside, she heard a whisper in a soft, warm, and ancient, "My strength is yours, child. My voice is yours, rise." All across the galaxy, it happened again and again. In shipyards, prisons, and factories, humans began to awaken. Some could control metal, some could heal wounds, and others could breathe in open space. The aliens didn't understand it. They called it the infection, but the humans called it the call of Earth. For the first time in hundreds of years, humans felt powerful again. Back on Earth, Ryan and Lena had gathered thousands of survivors in the green ruins of an old alien fortress. Trees were growing fast, covering the broken metal walls. Birds had returned. Rivers flowed where there were once factories. "This is not just survival," Ryan told them. "This is rebirth," Lena nodded. "And the galaxy doesn't even know yet." But deep down, they knew Earth had bigger plans. She wasn't just defending herself. She was preparing her children for something greater, to reclaim what was stolen. In the darkness of space, Mara and other awakened humans found an old human ship, abandoned after the wars. Its systems were dead, its hull cracked. But when she touched the metal, it came alive. Lights flickered on. Engines hummed. The ship responded as if it recognized her. She smiled. "Let's go home." As the engines roared to life, every star around them flickered for a moment, like they were bowing to a power older than time. News of human uprisings spread fast. The alien empires panicked. They sent fleets to hunt them down. But wherever the fleets went, storms followed. Not from space, but from the planet below. Earth's energy reached across light years, guiding her children, protecting them. Even in the emptiness of space, humans felt her warmth. Mara sent a final message across the stars, and simple, clear, and strong. We are not forgotten. She remembers us. And now we remember her. On Earth, Ryan looked up at the stars and whispered, "She's calling them home." And somewhere deep within the planet, the ancient voice answered, "When my children return, the galaxy will tremble." The alien empires had ruled the stars for thousands of years. They built worlds, destroyed others, and thought themselves untouchable. But after Earth's awakening, their fear returned, something they hadn't felt in generations. Armadas gathered around Earth, filling the sky with millions of ships. From orbit, the planet looked peaceful, blue and green again, but every alien commander knew that peace was a lie. "Begin the attack," ordered General Vorak, the Arkan warlord who led the United Fleets. Thousands of weapons lit up. Beams of plasma and energy rained down, but none reached the surface. The first wave vanished, absorbed into a bright shield of light. Then the second wave bent midair and struck the attackers instead. The third caused their own ships to explode. It was not defense. It was reflection. Earth was turning their power against them. Vorak screamed, "Increase firepower!" But his crew stared in horror. Outside their window, the oceans below were rising. Not waves, but walls of water reaching toward space. The sea itself was climbing into the sky. On the ground, Ryan and Lena stood at the edge of a growing storm. Mountains were moving, yes, moving, rising like giants from the earth, glowing with fire. Forests twisted, forming massive shapes that looked almost alive. Ryan whispered, "She's done waiting." Lena nodded. They wanted a war. Now they'll see what war means to a planet. The humans watched as the sky turned crimson. Bolts of lightning connected with alien ships, forming chains of energy. One by one, ships exploded, not from weapons, but from the planet's will. In orbit, General Vorak's last transmission was filled with static and terror. "It's not a planet, it's a god." His fleet vanished into light, and where they died, the stars themselves dimmed, as if refusing to shine upon such pride. Far across the galaxy, the surviving empires began to crumble. Their homeworlds trembled as storms appeared without reason. Rivers ran backwards. Moons cracked. The same voice whispered through their networks, "Remember what you did." Their leaders tried to flee, but even in the farthest corners of the galaxy, Earth's storms found them. On Earth, silence followed. Ryan stood in the ruins of an alien fortress, looking at the sky now filled with soft green light. Lena stood beside him, her face calm. "Is it over?" she asked. Ryan shook his head slowly. "No, she's still angry." He looked at the growing forests, at the rivers, at the sky, and felt the planet breathing again. "But maybe now," he said, "the galaxy will learn what we forgot long ago. You don't own a world. You belong to it." The next dawn was quiet. No ships, no masters. Just the wind, the trees, and the heartbeat of a planet finally awake. The galaxy had seen wars, rebellions, and destruction before, but nothing like this. After the fall of the alien fleets around Earth, silence spread across the stars. For a brief moment, everyone thought it was over, but Earth was not finished. The planet had awakened fully now. Her heartbeat echoed across space. Every satellite, every ship, every signal carried her pulse. The sound reached even the farthest colonies, a deep rhythm that shook planets and hearts alike. Thump, 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 thump. It was the sound of a living world, marching toward vengeance. Ryan and Lena stood on a mountain of black stone, watching the skies. The horizon was filled with light, not sunrise, but fire. Across the world, volcanoes erupted in perfect rhythm. Lightning danced between clouds like veins of energy. The planet itself was alive, moving and angry. Lena whispered, "She's spreading her power." Ryan nodded. "She's going after them." Far across the stars, the surviving alien empires watched in terror as space itself began to twist. New storms appeared near their homeworlds, storms that shouldn't exist in space at all. Moons shattered. Oceans boiled. Everywhere, humans who had once been slaves began to rise. glowing with the same energy as Earth. One of them, Mara, the miner from the Trakari moon, led a fleet of human ships now reborn with the planet's light. Her voice echoed across the galaxy. "We are the voice of Earth. You took our freedom. You took our world. Now she takes everything from you." The alien homeworlds tried to defend themselves. Their fleets launched weapons strong enough to destroy stars. But each time they fired, their weapons turned back, their own energy folding against them. Entire civilizations fell in minutes. Planets that once ruled over others now crumbled like dust. Their towers sank into molten seas. Their cities became forests overnight. It wasn't destruction. It was cleansing. Back on Earth, Rian felt the ground hum beneath his feet. He closed his eyes and saw visions, not of war but of memory. Humans planting trees, building homes, laughing under blue skies. He saw ancient civilizations long before space travel, and he understood. "She doesn't just destroy," he said softly. "She restores," Lena smiled faintly. "Then maybe we can begin again." Above them, the stars flickered red. A wave of light spread outward from Earth, racing faster than anything known. When it reached alien worlds, their skies turned blue, the color of Earth's forgiveness, or her final warning. Across the galaxy, survivors fell to their knees as the voice of the planet whispered one last message. The time of cruelty is over. The age of life begins, and then silence. The war was over. The galaxy, once bright and full of noise, was quiet now. Alien empires had fallen, fleets had turned to ash, and Earth, the small blue world they once enslaved, now shone like a star. From space, the planet looked peaceful again. Its oceans were calm, its lands green. No sign of the fury that had erased entire civilizations. But deep within her heart, Earth still remembered. Rian walked through a forest that had grown where an alien fortress once stood. The air smelled of rain and life. Birds sang again. Every step he took was soft, the ground no longer metal but soil. Lena walked beside him, silent for a while. Then she asked, "Do you think she's really done?" Rian looked up at the sky. "No one's ever truly done, but I think she's resting." They stopped at a hill covered with new flowers. In the center stood a single stone, black and smooth, glowing faintly blue. Rian touched it. The stone was warm. A gentle voice echoed in his mind, calm now, no longer filled with rage. "My children suffered. My heart burned, but now, I remember love," he smiled. "Thank you." Across the galaxy, the few surviving species began to rebuild. They didn't speak of conquest anymore. They spoke of balance and of respect. They built temples to honor the living world that had spared them. Some even traveled to Earth, not as conquerors but as guests, bringing gifts, asking for peace. And humanity welcomed them. For the first time, all species looked at Earth not as a prize but as a mother, powerful, dangerous, and full of grace. Mara's fleet returned home at last. The skies opened as the ships entered orbit. Earth's clouds shimmered gold, forming patterns like wings. When Mara stepped on the soil, she felt it again, the heartbeat thump, thump. She knelt, touched the ground and whispered, "We came back, Mother. We're home." And the wind answered soft and warm, "Welcome back, my children." Years passed. Rian and Lena built a new city, not from steel but from living trees and stone. Children played under skies that were finally free. No one remembered the chains anymore. Only the stories remained of the time when the galaxy tried to enslave a world, and the world fought back. One evening, Rian stood on the shore watching the waves. He saw lights in the distance, human ships leaving for new stars. He smiled. "She'll watch over them." Lena joined him, holding his hand. "Do you think they'll forget?" Rian shook his head. "No. Some things can never be forgotten." Above them, the stars shimmered brighter, as if listening, and the wind whispered through the trees one last time. "This planet remembers."